Hello everyone, welcome to Box Office Receipts. I'm your host Alec Callahan, and we got the latest box office numbers. A theater chain is up for sale, Hulu on Disney Plus goes live, and other streaming updates. Let's start with the domestic top 5. For the domestic box office, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire debuted in first place with 45.2 million. In second place was Dune Part 2 with 17.6 million for a total of 233.3 million. Third place was Kung Fu Panda 4 with another 16.8 million for a total now of 133.2 million. Fourth place was Immaculate, which debuted to $5.3 million. And in fifth place was Arthur the King with 4.3 million for a total of 14.6 million. So for Sony Pictures, this was a mixed weekend, I think, regarding Ghostbusters. On one hand, it opened above 40 million, which is great, considering some tracking on pre-sales was having it set to open in the high 30 range, so it did not collapse. However, reception does not look good, with reviews from critics being bad. It's at a 42% on Rotten Tomatoes, and from the audience, it got a B+, which I don't think is good, especially since Sony marketed it hard that the original cast was back to help the crew. Right? There's a new crew. There's a second movie with them. They were heavily advertising, hey, the old crew is back to help them out. You get people to go out and still got a B+. So, yes, the numbers by themselves overall, solid weekend, great weekend for Sony. But that second weekend drop probably has the studio concerned. And while it may not seem like much, Immaculate opening to 5 million is a win for Neon. The distributor bought the US rights to the film, which overall cost producers around 9 million to make. So as long as Neon managed their marketing budget for the film well, they're set to make a solid profit from this when everything's said and done. A good start to the year for them. As for the rest of the films, 250 million is a lock for Dune Part 2, and Kung Fu Panda 4 is set to pass 150 million probably by next weekend. Kung Fu Panda 4 came in first place in China with 14.4 million for a total of $25.6 million. That is a bit of a weak opening, which makes me think the previews took a bit too much out of it. In second place was The Pig, the Snake, and the Pigeon with another 6.7 million for a total of 83.3 million. Third place was Dune Part 2 with 4.4 million for a total now of 43.5 million. Fourth place was Viva La Vida, which earned 3.6 million in previews. Its full opening will be next weekend. And the fifth place was Remember Me with 2.1 million for a total of $11.9 million. Ghostbusters Frozen Kingdom earned 16.4 million for a worldwide opening weekend of 61.6 million. Worth noting, it only opened in 25 international markets, so the rollout will continue over the next few weeks. But I would also not expect huge numbers here, as Ghostbusters have been more reliant on the domestic market for its box office. Kung Fu Panda 4 earned another 55.3 million for a worldwide total of 268.2 million. Dune Part 2 earned 30.7 million for a worldwide total of 574.3 million. Anyone But You is now at 216.4 million, and Bob Marley One Love is now at 173.4 million worldwide. We start off the news in Hollywood with an exclusive from Deadline, and that is the Alamo Drafthouse is up for sale. There is no word yet on how much they're asking, but whoever buys it would get 41 locations across 13 states. Previously, the company exited bankruptcy back in 2021 due to COVID putting a massive strain on their finances, as it did with other theaters. I haven't been to one myself, but they have looked cool with all the work they do when a movie comes out, as well as showing older movies. Hopefully, whoever buys them tries to build them up and expand. In another exclusive from Deadline, they report that Francis Ford Coppola has shown his next film, Megalopolis, for the first time. The purpose of this showing was to distributors, as he looks to get deals done soon. The executives did show up to this as well, with Ted Sarandos and Donna Langley both in attendance for Netflix and Universal respectively. In Japan, Oppenheimer was released in theaters for the first time. Warner Brothers is looking to keep Timothy Chalamet on the Burbank lot for as long as possible, as he has signed a first look deal with the studio. The deal covers both acting and producing. I mean, this just makes sense because he has been the lead for both Dune and Wonka, and while Dune is more of an ensemble cast, he is the main character. He has shown he can lead films multiple times over and knows how to pick them. Ryan Gosling is getting into producing by starting up a new production company with Jesse Henderson. The company will be called General Admission, and they have already signed a first look deal for 3 years with Amazon MGM Studios. Here's Gosling's statement on the announcement. Quote, I feel incredibly fortunate to have partners like Jesse Henderson and Courtney Valenti in this endeavor. The gift of partnering with Jesse Henderson in General Admission is one that cannot be understated. I'm a huge fan of Jesse's and the films she's produced and developed. Her unique experience, intuition, work ethic, relationships, as well as the impressive road she's paved for herself in both comedy and drama, have led to a unique ability to make the rare films that combine both. It has been such a privilege to work with Courtney Valenti on Barbie and our upcoming film Project Hail Mary. Her strong leadership, artistic instincts, and clarity of vision make Courtney a dream collaborator and one of proven expertise in the industry. From The Wizard of Oz to Rocky, MGM has made many of not only my favorite films, but some of the greatest films of all time. I'm very excited about the future Courtney and the team are building at Amazon MGM, and feel honored to be part of the next chapter of this truly iconic studio. End quote. As for casting updates, well, Deadline has the exclusive on just about all of them. They were just busy this week breaking the news. Austin Butler is looking to join the crime thriller Caught Stealing over at Sony Pictures. The film will be directed by Darren Aronofsky and is based on a book set in 1990s New York City, written by Charlie Hudson. Ariana DeBose has signed on to star with In Love. This is the upcoming film from 87 North and Universal, starring Ke-Huy Quan. It is set to come out February 7th next year. Willem Dafoe is joining the film SNL 1975 over at Sony Pictures, where he is set to play the role of David Tibet. The Insider broke the news on this casting, but it looks like Scarlett Johansson is set to star in the next Jurassic World film. I take it Universal was looking to get some star power to lead the next one, and, because as far as we know, it's going to be a brand new cast. Well, they're definitely getting the star power with Scarlett Johansson. Scott Derrickson is set to join the Night of the Hunter for Universal. The film will be an adaptation of a novel written by David Grubb from 1953. The script for the adaptation is written by C. Robert Cargo. Over at Amazon MGM Studios, they are moving forward with A Simple Favor 2 and have announced the cast for it. The Paul Feige directed film will see Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively returning, with the cast also including Henry Golding and Kelly McCormick, among others. Filming is set to start in the spring. As for new films in development, Deadline had the scoop on these. First off, we got a film about Whitney Wolfe Herd, the founder of the dating app Bumble. It'll be produced by 20th Century Studios and Athena Entertainment, with Lily James set to star in the lead role as well as produce. Filming is set to begin later this year. For his first big project since leaving Netflix, Scott Stuber is looking to produce a film about Bruce Springsteen, with it focused on his period of his life with him and his band as he worked on the album Nebraska back in the 80s. The singer is involved with the film, which right now has Scott Cooper writing the script and set to direct. As for who will play Springsteen, the top choice is Jeremy Allen White, and they are looking to work with A24 in regard to distribution. Variety has the exclusive on this, and that is there's a new writer attached to Star Trek 4, with Steve Iacari set to write the screenplay. He previously created the show The Flight Attendant over at Max. Paramount still hopes to get this film done and serve as a finale for the recent series of films that started back in 2009. Disney is moving forward with a sequel to Freaky Friday, with Nisha Kanatra set to direct. The studio is also already in talks with Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan about coming back to reprise their roles. I would think they and Disney would be able to make a deal for them to come back, because look, without them, no one's going to care about a sequel to Freaky Friday. No one. Screen Gems have bought a film package called Wolf Night. Not much is known about it except it will be produced by Platinum Dunes and directed by Jonathan Liebsman. Amazon MGM Studios have also bought a film package. The film is from Imagine Entertainment and called After the Hunt, with a script written by Noah Garrett. Luca Guadagnino is set to direct, with Julia Roberts set to star in it. Arnold Schwarzenegger announced that he is recovering from open heart surgery and that he will be ready to be back to film Fubar Season 2 in April. Hopefully the rest of his recovery goes well. Sadly, we had quite a few deaths this week. A shocking one was Chance Perdomo, who died at the age of 27 due to a motorcycle accident. He was most recently in the first season of Gen V and also starred in Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Louis Gossett Jr. died at the age of 87. He was an actor who appeared in films and TV shows and is most well known for Oscar-winning performance in An Officer and a Gentleman back in 1982 and his Emmy Award-winning nomination in Roots. Jennifer Leake has died at the age of 76. She had been battling progressive supranuclear palsy. Leake starred in the 1968 film Yours, Mine, and Ours. Ellie Noyes died at the age of 81. He worked on stop-motion animation and got an Oscar nomination for his short film Clay, or The Origin of Species. Fritz Wepper died at the age of 82 after battling a long illness. He was a German actor who was known in America for his role in the 1972 musical Cabaret. And Tim McGovern has died at the age of 68 after passing away in his sleep. He was a visual effects artist who worked on numerous films, including First Man, Dunkirk, and the original Total Recall, for which he won an Oscar for. Thoughts and prayers go out to their families during this time, and may they rest in peace. An exclusive from Deadline, the film Division at 5th season is undergoing restructuring, and due to that, there are layoffs with 9 people being let go. Hopefully they land on their feet soon. In release date news, Universal and DreamWorks have set a date for The Bad Guys 2, now set to come out August 1st, 2025. Also from Universal, The Wolfman has been pushed back. Originally set to come out this fall, it will now instead come out January 17th next year. As for another horror movie, The Woman in the Yard, it was set to come out next January, but for now has been removed from the release calendar. Sony will be releasing Miramax's film Here over a few weeks. The film is directed by Robert Zemeckis and stars Tom Hanks and Robin Wright. It will first come out in New York City and Los Angeles on November 15th, with a wide release happening on November 27th. And Warner Brothers and Bad Robot have revealed the name of their upcoming film, called Flowervale Street. We actually knew quite a bit about it, except the title. It'll be directed by David Robert Mitchell and will star Anne Hathaway and Ian McGregor. It comes out on May 16th, 2025. First thoughts are that it's not that great of a title, but once we see some footage, it might fit better. As for the looming Disney proxy fight, they are also facing a lawsuit. Personally, I don't think this will go anywhere, but it's worth mentioning. The Blackwell's Capital, an investor in Disney, filed a lawsuit over the company's relationship with another investment group, Value Act. They believe that Value Act has been paid to take a pro-Disney stance in regards to the proxy fight. Disney have already come out and said the lawsuit is baseless. Over the last few episodes, we have talked about people coming out in support of Disney, but we now have a group publicly throwing their weight behind Nelson Peltz and Trian. CalPERS, or the California Public Employees Retirement System, have come out and said that they will vote for Nelson Peltz and Jay Rasulo in their upcoming shareholder vote. The retirement fund owns 6.65 million shares of Disney and is one of the top 30 investors of the company. In the UK, Christopher Nolan will receive a knighthood, with Emma Thomas receiving a damehood for their services to film. And while not a knighthood, co-CEO of Netflix Ted Sarandos will be honored as a Commander of the Order of the British Empire, which is one of the highest honors you can get in the UK. Congratulations to all 3 of them. For trailers, Sony Pictures finally released the first one for Bad Boys Ride or Die. It looks like a good watch, and personally, I was starting to get worried this was going to get pushed back with the lack of marketing, but with the trailer out now, it is still set to come out June 7th. Looking forward to it. Searchlight Pictures released the first trailer for Kinds of Kindness. This is the next film from Yorgos Lanthimos, starring Emma Stone, Jesse Plemons, Willem Dafoe, Margaret Qualley, Hong Chow, Joe Alwyn, Mamadou Athie, and Hunter Schafer. We don't know much about it, except it is an anthology film with 3 separate stories. It comes out on June 21st. We start off VOD Premium with an exclusive from Variety on a new show for Max, Selena Plus Restaurant. Over the last few years, singer and actor Selena Gomez has had a cooking show on Max called Selena Plus Chef, where she would cook from her home kitchen. Now she'll be going out to restaurants, learning from different chefs, while also trying to make a dish good enough to get on a menu. It is set to premiere on May 2nd. At HBO, they have announced Troubled Waters in getting season 3 of Euphoria into production. With it being announced, production has been pushed back. It was set to start filming soon to release sometime in 2025. As for why, well, Variety has the exclusive on this with the scripts for the season already written, but they have already been scrapped. It would have included a time jump and a smaller role for Zendaya's character. The actress offered some input, and the creator of the show, Sam Levinson, reworked the scripts to fix that with her character getting more of an arc for the season. Then the issue became HBO executives did not like the new scripts for the season, so Levinson is now working on what is basically the third version of the scripts. So it's going to be a while. The report from Variety also mentions that some of the company believe the season will never get made, and I think there is a real risk of that. HBO have released the cast for the rest of the year, meaning they are free to find and do other jobs until next year as needed. And the plan is to come back in October, ideally with a plan to start filming next year. One thing is clear is if this season actually gets made, it will be the last one for the show. And from Rooster Teeth at Warner Brothers Discovery, it was announced that the last season of their show, Red vs. Blue, called Red vs. Blue Restoration, will be released as a movie instead of episodes. Normally, it is released as a season and then eventually as a movie when it is finished. Warner Brothers Discovery Home Entertainment will distribute it via VOD platforms starting May 7th. At Paramount Plus, a new show called A Gentleman in Moscow has premiered, starring Ewan McGregor. Brett Goldstein is set to join season 2 of Shrinking at Apple TV Plus in a guest star role. He is also a co-creator of the show along with Bill Lawrence and Jason Segel. Also for Apple TV Plus, The Last Thing He Told Me will be getting a second season. The show starring Jennifer Gardner and Nikolai Coster-Waldau was originally set to be a limited series based off a book written by Laura Dave. Well, turns out she wrote a sequel, and that is what will be used for the next season. Both Garner and Costner-Waldau will reprise their roles for the upcoming season. We got a casting update on the upcoming comedy show from Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg called The Studio. Besides Rogen, the show will star Catherine O'Hara, Catherine Hahn, and Bryan Cranston, among others. The show for Apple TV Plus is being produced by Point Grey Pictures and Lionsgate Television. At Starz, Power Book 3, Raising Can, has been renewed for a 5th season. The show is currently filming season 4. For Netflix, we got the top 10 charts for the week of March 18th to the 24th. For English films, Irish Wish came in first place with 25.5 million views. Second place was Damsel with another 19.5 million views. And in third place was Shooter with 5.6 million views. For English TV shows, The Gentleman stayed in first place with 11.7 million views. In second place was Three Body Problem, which debuted to 11 million views. And in third place was Homicide New York with 6.6 million views. So for Three Body Problem, that is not a good opening considering it has been reported each episode cost around 20 million to make. Now, it could have a good hold over the next few weeks, but that will definitely be needed if it wants to get renewed for a second season. The streamer also released a trailer for Unfrosted, the Pop-Tart story. This is a film coming from Jerry Seinfeld, who also stars in the film along with Melissa McCarthy, Amy Schumer, Jim Gaffigan, Hugh Grant, and Bill Burr. It comes out on May 3rd. We got the Nielsen Top 10 charts for the week of February 26th to March 3rd. In first place overall was Love is Blind on Netflix with 2.1 billion minutes. In second place was Avatar: The Last Airbender with another 1.93 billion minutes watched. And in third place was Bluey with 1 billion minutes. For the streaming originals top 10, some noticeable ones include Shogun at 5th place with 513 million minutes. The Tourist at 6th place with 505 million minutes. And Formula One Drive to Survive in 7th place with 395 million. And we wrap up with Disney as they have a lot going on. First, they announced that X-Men 97 got 4 million viewers in its first 5 days. So yeah, there was definitely a lot of excitement over this coming out. The documentary about the Beach Boys called The Beach Boys will premiere on the streamer on May 24th. For Hulu, they have canceled Death and Other Details after one season. The show premiered back in January with its now final episode having come out on March 5th. As for what is coming soon to Hulu, they released a trailer for Under the Bridge. The limited crime series will star Riley Keough and Lily Gladstone. It premieres on April 17th with 2 episodes, followed by a weekly release. And March 27th will mark the full launch of Hulu on Disney+. This means that the beta tag that has been on the Hulu section for the last few months will be removed. Along with that, titles from Hulu will now be integrated into personalized recommendations. The Disney Plus app itself is getting a small makeover as well, with the icon and splash page getting a new color that Disney calls Aurora, which is a mix of Disney Plus's blue and Hulu's green. The company will also be kicking off a marketing campaign around Hulu on Disney Plus, so they are going to make sure everyone knows about it. And as if for this episode of Box Office Receipts, if you want to follow me on Threads, Instagram, or X, links to those are in the show notes. Thank you for listening, and see you next time.